We begin tonight in Easthampton, where a second school committee member has now resigned in the midst of a superintendent search controversy. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Western Mass News at 6 on Monday. I'm Chris Pisano. Western Mass News reporter Kristen Burnell joins us live with this newest development. Kristen.
Chris, I spoke with the mayor of Easthampton about the resignation of these two Easthampton school committee members as the search for a now interim superintendent is underway tonight.
For both Shannon Dunham and Lori Garcia, they brought very different perspectives to the committee. Sorry to see them both resign. Shannon stepped away more for health reasons, as she just said in her statement, and Lori was dissatisfied with the process.
Easthampton Mayor Nicole LaChapelle speaking with Western Mass News after a second school committee member has resigned from their position. This comes following a dramatic string of events involving the district's search for a new superintendent.
It's their choice to stay or to go. I would obviously starting a process like a superintendent search and keeping the body together would be preferable, but everybody makes their own decisions.
Lori Garcia wrote in a statement in part, quote, "After deep consideration, it is with regret to inform you of my resignation, effective immediately. I can no longer work with a committee that has proven to act in ways that are detrimental to our school district and community at large." This after Garcia spoke with Western Mass News 2 weeks ago, expressing her hopes to keep the committee united after weeks of community-wide outrage about how the committee handled the superintendent search. To remind you, the initial candidate offered the job, Dr. Vito Perrone, told us his offer was rescinded in March because he referred to the Easthampton School Committee chairperson and executive assistant as ladies in an email about his contract request, which he was told was taken as a microaggression. Mayor LaChapelle says plans are now in the works to fill the now 2 vacant spots on the school committee.
The city council will go forward with the plan by charter to replace, it's a joint conference, and President Gomez will be putting that out.
The school committee decided last week that they are now in search for an interim superintendent, and ongoing discussions will convene on Monday night.
And I'm hoping that this next process around an interim is a reset for the committee, but also members of the public, but most importantly, the students.
Now that school committee meeting began just a short time ago at 6 o'clock. We'll be sure to bring you the latest updates out of that, both on air and online. For now, reporting live, Kristen Burnell, Western Mass News.
Kristen.